Oh, it's a Monday night surprise, nerds. There was so much nerd buildup that we had to do another live stream on a Monday. That's right. Overflowing with nerd. So everyone go get something in your glass. I'm going to drink the last of my bourbon of the night because tonight we have a lot of Irish whiskey to drink. We have a lot of good Irish whiskey, and we have an expert in Irish whiskey to guide us through this, answer all of my questions, help me. I don't know. Help me drink. Drink along. Get drunk with me. It's going to be a great night. I'm going to do a quick little hello to everyone who's in here. I know you're probably like, what the heck? It's Monday. Whatever. Go get some in your glass. Dustin's here, and it's just him. It's just him on a Monday. So he's here. Donnie, long time no see. Good to see you again, Donnie. What's up, Richard White and Peter White, Irishman 17. So to answer your question there, Peter, we are actually going to throw that in last. Stacy was like, hey, I got that. Let's go. So that's in there too. Warming up with an Irish coffee. What is in? We should wait for some of these questions because I feel like some of it could just be answered. I don't even know what an Irish coffee is. Coffee and Irish whiskey. Both the gold spot and red spot dropped online in Ontario today. We're about to find out what that means. Odyssey Rider, enjoy your Irish whiskey. I'm drinking early times bottled and bond plastic top. Ooh, old school. Let's go. Eric Sawyer, nerd on a Monday. Of course, Andrew Kelly. Alex Quintero, let's go. What's up, Jake Miller? Good to see you, Jake. How the heck are you? The Daily Annual Weekly, is today still Monday? I don't know. Are you drunk? It's Friday. Nah, it's Monday. What's up? What's up, Donnie? Andrew Chance from Vegas. Jonathan, let's go. What's up, Ricardo? John T. Jeffrey Pellegrini. Stacy is here, so we do have an expert to help Trip. I'm going to need it. Because I was reading some of these and was like, I don't even know what that word means. Good night, Channel Brazilian Whiskey here. I'm glad you're here, Brazilian. I'm not going to try and say your name. Porceo dos Anjos. I'm from Arkansas. I don't know. I tried. You're from Brazil. Welcome, though. Good to see you on a Monday. Joe, the sample guy. Faderade, William Reynolds, the legends, Paul P. Oh, the heck is this? It's drinking on a Monday. What do you think it is? It's up 5 fingers. All right. Let's bring in our guest because we have a lot of whiskey to get through. I'm going to be chatting with you guys. I'm going to be chatting with her. We're going to be drinking Irish whiskey. Everyone, welcome to the stage. 4-Leaf Whiskey.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm about to be doing really good. I feel. I hope. I think so.
I think it was Sugar Kitty that joked in my stream last night. Like, everybody says there's no cast strength Irish whiskey, and Stacy says, "Hold my beer." I
was about to say, there's only one that's under 50.
Yes,
and it gets all the way up to 63. So
yes, I have a few that are higher than that. I didn't send those yet.
Now, is that a thing though? Is that like most Irish whiskey? Is that just not popular?
It's becoming popular. One reason why all the stuff was only 48% or 80 proof was because the big names owned it all. So I mean, why sell one that's cast strength when you can sell it at 80 proof?
Interesting.
Well, they're finding out people want that. And the littler brands are willing to give it to you.
Oh, yeah. And then that's going to cause them to be like, oh, shoot, now we got to do it. Yep. It's weird to see the trend that like this trend has already happened in like the bourbon world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to see them just following it again. So
yeah,
I don't
once
know,
you
maybe
break away from those major brands, you're going to find a lot more variety.
Yep. Interesting. I didn't know that. I don't know. And, you know, I kept hearing the saying that, like, Irish whiskey is the fastest growing.
Yes. It is the second fastest growing spirit category in the world behind tequila.
Interesting. See, and I think it makes sense because the ones I've tried, at least so far, have been pretty dang good. And I think once it gains traction of, hey, this is right there and you can buy it and it's really good, it's going to catch fire.
Once you look, you're going to start noticing a lot of different brands on your shelves. So I'm trying to like let people know what that is.
Yep.
Because I have, as you can tell, a little bit of it.
With this, just a little bit about yourself before we dive into this. This might be assumption, but is this your favorite category of whiskey?
Yes.
This your
I love the variety that you get with Irish whiskey because you can finish it in any cask. It doesn't even have to be oak. So I love that. I love the history behind some of the brands. Even some of the newer brands there's some really interesting stories behind them.
Was that your first love of whiskey? Or is that something you stumbled into after?
It was my first love of whiskey. Okay. I can remember, gosh, it's probably been almost 10 years being at the Dublin Irish Festival, Dublin, Ohio. Don't get too excited. But being there and trying Bushmill 16 for the first time, and I'm like, wow, whiskey's really good. And then
that was your first experience of like, hey, this is whiskey.
Yeah.
So you didn't even know.
Now I'm learning about bourbon.
Yep.
So I mean, I've got a little bit of bourbon over here too. So I'm really excited. It'll still always be my first love.
That's interesting. It's really cool. It's gonna be cool for you in like a couple years or whatever down the line, because to see how, you know, because a lot of people will start somewhere and they transition to something, or they venture out and realize, no, this is what I want. So I don't really know anyone who's like, yeah, I started in Irish and then X happened. Like that's never the case from what I've seen.
No, Irish whiskey drinkers tend to just buy more Irish whiskey.
It's like just Irish and that's it. We're the best.
Yeah. We just buy more of it. We start buying it direct from over there and just cut out the middleman usually.
I'm reading you guys as y'all come in. Get something in your glass. If it's Irish, even better. But if it's not, that's cool too. You can drink whatever you want over here. Followed in third by Malort single barrel wrench pick. What? I want to do a Malort pick. I just, you know, how much? That'd be awesome. Could you imagine how, like, I would pick the worst possible one.
I mean, you have to.
Normally, you're picking the best. So you want to start? Let's get into it.
Yeah, we're gonna start with the lowest proof. This is Jameson single pot still.
Now I will say, even the noob that I am, like Jameson, that's just a massive name of Irish whiskey.
So this is the first single pot still from Jameson Distillery since the 1960s. 1968, they moved to more of the affordable blend that everybody knows today and sold gazillion cases of it, which allowed them and Middleton to branch more into single pot still whiskey again. This is 46% ABV. So this is malted and unmalted barley. This is 80% of it is done in ex-bourbon and ex-Oloroso sherry casks, and then 20% of it is finished in virgin Irish, American, and European oak.
Interesting. So when you just say all three, is that three different
virgin casks? Yeah.
Wow. So it goes into one. Do you know how long are they going into each of those?
The ex-bourbon is 4 years old. The ex-sherry, I found out, is 5.5 years old. The virgin oak cask, each of those That was 4 years of ex-bourbon, ex-Oloroso
Mhm.
sherry, and then they finished it an additional 3 years in the virgin oak.
That's
So that
honestly
was
like
really 7.
that honestly sounds like a ridiculous amount of work.
Yeah, kinda, a little overkill, yeah.
It's like, what? Like at what point were they like, you know what? Another one. Put it in another one.
Yeah, yeah. So this is considered, a medium pot still. This one, unfortunately, right now, you can only get this in Ireland. This was 60 €. We are really, really hoping there's a big push to get this one in the US this year, and we think it might happen. So look for this one. This might show up on your shelves this year in the US. We're hoping.
Interesting. So that's when you say we, you think, has there been indications that they're like, yeah, we're about to bring it?
There's been some rumors,
Okay.
both by whiskey industry people on this side and over there, that they're like, well, it's going to be in the US. Well, no, well, we just hear it might. Well, no, I haven't heard any. Well, maybe. And so we're all hoping it shows up.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I have another question.
Sure.
Because you mentioned it when you were saying that malted and unmalted barley.
Yes.
Is that a common thing? Like, is that a common trend you see in Irish whiskey?
And single pot still, it has to be.
In
Single pot
single
still
pot
whiskey has
still?
to have, yeah, it has to have a minimum of 30% malted barley, a minimum of 30% unmalted barley. It can't have more than 5% of another cereal grain.
Okay.
Usually they use wheat or oats a lot of the time, but I mean, they could use rye.
Now, why I even thought of that is just Saturday, I went to the local distillery of ours and I ordered a pour of something I was unfamiliar with
Mhm.
of theirs. And they just called it like Arkansas barley. It was, I don't know. I asked them what they did with it, and they said, we wanted to try and make it like an Irish whiskey, and we used malted and unmalted barley.
They probably did a 50-50, a malted and a malted barley.
Okay.
That's what green spot is. It's 50-50.
Well, I heard that and was like, that's going to be a good question to ask you because what's up with the unmalted barley? Is that a thing? Like, I had no idea.
So unmalted barley was basically, that's how single pot still got started. It was Ireland's way of avoiding paying taxes. Um,
Okay. I
yeah.
like it already.
So 17, I think it was 65, there was a malt tax put on malted barley. So the distilleries were bleeding them dry. So they started using, like, fine, we'll use unmalted barley. There's no tax on that.
That
Now,
is
it
awesome.
only lasted until like 1850s, but the whiskey they got was really popular, and so they just kept going with it.
Interesting. That's
So
honestly
that's how single
hilarious.
pot still came about.
Just
They
like,
don't pay
you know
taxes.
what? Screw you. We're going to use unmalted.
So that's
Anna
what did
Paul?
single pot still whiskey, that spicy flavor, those fruity notes, those grassy notes.
Well, as I taste them, you're going to have to explain those things because I don't even know. Single pot, double pot, I don't know.
It
Anna,
actually used to be called pure pot still. And it was actually the US that came down on Ireland and said, that makes no sense. You need to pick something better.
so they
What
picked
does that mean?
single.
And they came up with single pot still, meaning
Okay.
that it was at a single distillery.
See, all that's confusing too to me, but when it's explained, I get it, and then I'll forget it.
I'll
And
probably
then
forget it in an hour anyway. So, okay.
so Anna's warming up with some green spot
Ooh, Chateau
Montalina.
Montelena.
Is that different? Is there a difference?
Yes, that is the regular green spot, but that's been finished in Zinfandel cask from
Ooh,
Chateau Montelena that's in Napa.
interesting. Okay.
It's one of their 3 in the wine series that they have. They also have Chateau Level Barton, which is Bordeaux, and then they just released, and mine's still on its way, Quail's Gate, which is a Canadian winery, and it's a Pinot Noir.
Hey, Liberty Not Licensed, just a quick dropping in to let you know I'm still alive. Love Mega Wrench and haven't forgotten about any of you beloved Whiskey Dude friends. Well, hey, I'm glad you're still alive. Where the freak have you been? But you're just stopping quick. I love you. In case I don't see you for a bit. This smells incredible.
I thought you might like this one. This one I think is kind of geared more towards bourbon drinkers with all the different virgin oak that it's got.
It genuinely smells like just a baked cookie.
Yeah, it smells like a big cookie.
This vanilla. I'm thinking of like a cookie with a vanilla, like a. I wouldn't say it tastes like this, but the best thing I can explain is like the white, like the vanilla Oreo.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like the sandwich cookies that have like the creamy. Yeah.
Yes. It's got a creamy. That is insane. There's no way, though, I would smell this and have any clue about all of these different barrels this went into, you know?
They put it on the label, and I kind of looked into it more to see all what was in there. And it's interesting, the amount of work that they did on this one. And they wanted to bring back the single pot still, but still make it inherently Jameson. Yeah. And I think they did well with this. I mean, it's a single pot still, but it still has that Jameson vibe to it.
Top Dog's still alive too, so you survived the weekend, huh? The Braves did win. That's all spring training. The thing I've always thought was crazy about this is just, I don't know, I guess as a bourbon drinker, when you see things that are lighter like this, I mean, I wouldn't say that's the lightest thing, but compared kind of to the others, you already have some sort of thought of like what that's going to be like, and it's not.
Well, and here's the shame about this one. Irish Distillers does use artificial color. I don't know if this one has it. I say it is a definite possibility that this color is not natural.
True. I mean, part of me is like, if it tastes really good, does it really matter at the end of the day?
No. I honestly, I've got some really light color Irish whiskeys that are phenomenal. So, I mean, why even bother with it?
Well, I'm about to taste this sucker because it is impeccable.
So, in a lot of Irish people, we do toasts. So, I'm going to give you one of my favorite. Here's to Irish whiskey. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Sláinte.
Wow. I love it. I think I'm going to go to Ireland. Interesting.
You get that spice from that wood and from the pot still.
What's crazy is I'm getting definite malt of some sort. And I gotta be careful how I word this, because I'm gonna make myself sound like a total idiot. Because I was just talking to Donnie about this Saturday. A lot of scotch that I try, I taste the malt and I don't like it for that reason. I got that same note that I have gotten on like a single malt scotch or whatever, but it's better. Like there's something else that
there's not as much. That's why I actually did not send you any single malts, because I've never heard you say a lot about single malts. So I'm like, I'm just going to stick with the single pot stills.
It's there. It's there at the very beginning. Like, hey, I'm here. And then it's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And then backs off. And then it's like, it's sweet, spicy, vanilla. It's soft. I mean, it's 46, but it's, I think you could drink yourself to death on that.
It's got that single pot still spice, but it's still a Jameson. It's still an easy drinking Jameson at the end of the day.
I like that. I will say, I think I might like, honestly though, I think I like the nose of it better, because I was getting more of the
I do as well. I like the nose on this one better.
I was getting more of that cookie. Is there so you say the single pot still spiciness, I almost, like, I don't know if this is what you're calling that. I almost got, I don't know if I want to call it metallic.
I think that's more of a Jameson thing, because I get, even on the regular Jameson, I get kind of like a little bit of a metallic vanilla.
Yeah, it's like
on that single pot, the single pot still spice you typically get are baking spices. So you get cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, clove, mace, things like that.
Okay.
But those are typical, like stuff that you would bake with. Those usually that's a dead giveaway. That's a single pot still whiskey.
See, because it's crazy how it transitions. And again, I'm just proud that I can see things changing, but I don't know how to word them. It's fun. That's a roller coaster of like things happening.
So we're hoping this comes to the US and we're hoping it stays at a reasonable price, like €60.
I
That or less. I think it will do well if they get it over
too. I think that would do good on all three fronts. What I mean by that is Scotch people, bourbon people, and Irish people, or whatever, Canadian too, 4 fronts, whatever. Whiskey people, I think all angles would like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
What's up, Whack? Tullamore Dew cider cask finish is very good. Do you know?
Yeah, I like that one. I make a hot toddy with apple cider and a cinnamon stick and a little bit of Irish butter and that Tullamore Dew cider cask.
Ooh. Man, what the heck? Every bottle someone mentions, you're like, oh yeah, well I do this with it, and I'm like, okay.
I have a few of them. Yeah.
Jay Massey picked up a Redbreast with the bird feeder for
that
spring
thing right there.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know what that means, and of course
it's a bird. It comes with your Redbreast 12. It's a bird feeder.
Okay.
I use it as a little light over here.
That's awesome. She's the moonshiner's daughter, and I still love her. What are we gonna do next?
Next we're going a little different.
You do whatever.
This is a Cologne Pinot Noir firkin.
Firkin?
Firkin.
What is that?
This is an 11-year-old blended whiskey. So a firkin is basically a smaller cask.
Okay.
So this was a series of 3 that Cologne did for 3 different whiskey club, a pub, and a shop. So you guys all have the bourbon store picks. This is actually for a store in Ireland. This is Carry Out Killarney.
Interesting. That's cool.
So this one is finished in a recharred 70-liter Pinot Noir firkin. I
saw that and was like, heck yeah, I'm so stoked for this.
So this one is 11 years old. This is 66.5% Cooley grain. This is 3.5% Cooley malt, and 30% of it is Bushmills Oloroso cask. This is natural color, non-chill filtered, cask strength. So this one is 51.2%.
I'm going to go ahead and give a spoiler alert. I already smelled it, and holy crap.
I thought you might like this one.
Wow.
So Cologne is the smallest distillery in Ireland. They're my favorite. As you can see, I have a few of them. I love Brendan Cardy and Cologne. They are big on transparency. Like they want to give you as much of the information as they can. And they do things with their own distillate, like old world style. So they have these Portuguese pot stills. They have worm tub condensers. They measure things by the sack on their own stuff. So when the new stuff, you'll get like the mash bill and it's like 7.5 sacks of malted rye and crazy stuff like that.
They're just total nerds.
Yeah.
They're like, we're about to do this all in.
And they're, unapologetically so. I've actually, one of my first bottles of Cologne had Sharpie on the back of the label. And he did the label, something the Irish government said, you can't put that on there. And he basically is just like, well, screw you guys. Here's a Sharpie, and started on like 300 bottles, mark it out. And then printed off a little card and put it in the bag with the bottle saying, sorry, there's Sharpie on it, but here's why.
That's awesome. And honestly, like what makes it even better is how good it's like. I haven't even tasted it yet. I'm smelling this and like, this is impeccable. So it's kind of like, I don't care. I know how good my stuff is. So that's wow.
Cologne's one I try to share with everybody. This one, Cologne is some of the Cologne's available in the US and just a small number of states. This one is not. This one was a release a couple years ago and it's completely gone, but I grabbed another one.
Man, the Pinot definitely, I can still tell, obviously, that it's Irish whiskey, like shortbread, but it's got this Pinot finish vibe to it. Because a Pinot finish doesn't smell like you're smelling a Pinot Noir, but it changes things in a way of like I can almost tell this is a red wine finish of some sort.
I get like a lot of fresh red berry.
This is fruity. So now we're going from the shortbread cookie to some shortbread cookie with jelly on top of it.
Yeah, with like the jam, like the little thumbprint cookies.
Yep. This is right up my freaking alley. Sipping some Irish as I tune in. Cheers. Distilled, brewed, and reviewed.
There's Lancha.
I just picked up my son and I a Redbreast Lustra.
Oh, Redbreast Listo.
Is that how you say that?
It's Listo. Yeah, it's a typo, but I know what he means. He means Listo. Okay. And he just gave me a Redbreast 21. Wow, that's a nice gift.
Interesting. They're just going all out. Okay, Nick. Are these, so John's asking, are they in the States?
Some of the Cologne is, the Cologne, the 5-year rum and raisin, that one is in the States. It's in California, New York, Kentucky has it. I think there's one other state that has it. I think it's Jersey. They are available online to buy in the US. I think this one place ships in most states. This specific one is not. This was just done in Ireland.
Boo. Dang it. This is so good, though. Do you know what that tastes? I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say.
I want to hear what you get before I tell you what I always, and the reason why I sent this to you, because I just like a note I always get on this one.
I don't know how to word this because it might just be totally wrong.
No, it's never wrong. Different people get different stuff on whiskey.
It genuinely reminds me of a light peated Scotch. There's something about like it doesn't leave that in my mouth.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like it was there or is there or something.
I feel like it's like barbecue brisket with like the sauce on it.
Yeah.
It's like barbecue.
But just it's enough for me to be like, if that wasn't a blind and you said taste this only, I would be like, that's like a lightly peated Scotch. A little meaty or a little smoky, but little.
I know. I'm like, I swear I even get like the paprika and the sauce on that.
I remember like why I mentioned that is because I like this like I like the Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I'm there, but I know you're a noob and it's going to be okay. That's what it's telling me.
More smoke than peat.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I just associate both with being the same thing. So yeah, more smoke. It's like I'm sitting at a campfire.
Yeah.
In Ireland. With you.
Eating ribs.
Like, is that an Irish thing? Ribs, bring them up here. It's so good. I will say again, I'm getting less of the fruity. I might need to go back to it. I was really taken aback by that smoke. Wasn't expecting that to be there.
For this one, they did 152 bottles. So Cologne does the smaller. These are 500 ml bottles. And these sell out. Every time he lists something, it sells out.
You want to know what the palate, and now I'm all food. The Pinot Noir on the palate, I think, adds, going back to the rib, like this tastes like smoked ribs.
Tastes like smoked barbecue. Tastes like you're at a barbecue joint.
I think the Pinot Noir adds, like, when you have that thick layer of like sauce on it.
Yeah.
I think the Pinot makes it creamy. It
That could be. Yeah.
Makes it feel more like ribs.
Well, and there could be oats in the single grain. The grain whiskey from Cooley. It didn't say what the actual mash bill of that grain whiskey was, but I do know I've got some other Irish, and when there's oats in it, it makes that creamier kind of mouthfeel.
Okay. Well, either way, that's spot on. That's
I think you're right, though. I think that Pinot Noir adds to that barbecue where you're getting that almost like a barbecue sauce on this.
Yeah, like a sweeter barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I'm not gonna lie. After smelling, I was not expecting it to taste that way. Interesting. That's the thing. I guess I like a lot too about just not knowing a dang how different all of these are. Like even from the nose to the palate. Maybe I'm just really either that's how they are, or I'm really receptive to how different these things are.
Well, and like I said, once you get away from your typical, your Jameson, your Redbreast 12, Bushmills, yeah, a whole lot of variety.
Yeah.
In Irish whiskey and a whole lot of different stuff going on.
Well, these first two we've tried are night and day different.
Yep.
I thought a firkin was the cat that scratched Nick Fury's eye out. Close enough.
That was so funny.
Teasing us with whiskey we can't get. Wilmington, it's okay.
I'm bad about that, guys. I am so sorry. I am bad about that. I order a lot from Ireland.
Is it?
You can get it. It's just not easy.
I guess that's a good question. When you say you order it from Ireland, like can people order?
Mm-hmm.
Is it easy to order? Like, or is it competition? Like it pops up on the website.
My husband probably prefers it not be as easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you go online and you can buy a bottle, they'll ship it to your house. And it shows up a few days later.
I guess I was more wondering, like, is it quick to sell out?
Yeah. The smaller stuff, especially the Cologne, is we usually I follow them on a couple pages, and so I know when they're going on sale. Okay. And there's many a time that I'm setting my alarm for 7 a.m. because that's noon Irish time. And getting up to buy a bottle of whiskey that's on, going on sale over there. There's actually one on Friday.
See, and that is what I was asking.
Yeah. So you just have to know when it's going to go on sale and get on there and get one and then go back to bed.
All right.
But yeah, this one is not for sale any longer. I got this on an Irish whiskey auction sites. So that one was a good one though. And it's so different that I wanted to share it with you.
Well, I'm glad you did. That was a wild ride from the nose to the finish. What's up, Chris, Robzilla? Brian just tipped a Powers 3 swallow.
I like that one. Powers 3 swallows.
That's another good one?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's another single pot still. It's a sherry finish from Powers. And it's got its name because the coachman that would ride along with the carriages, they would give them a little bottle of whiskey, and it was 3 swallows worth to keep them warm.
Ah, there you go.
Jake, I have bought stuff from Tiny Tipple, yeah.
The history of it's honestly insane. What's the shipping? So yeah, Mike Hunter and Dunny.
Yeah, that's the downside. Yeah. Shipping is usually the thing is to get with your friends and get multiple bottles because the shipping is greatly reduced with the number of bottles you buy, same as it is here. One bottle will cost you probably about $50 just to have it shipped.
But to add to that, you're probably buying a bottle you can't get. So
yes, there's
that. 2, find some friends who want some bottles and it'll probably just even out in the end.
Yeah. I think, gosh, it's been a couple of years, but I got with some friends and we ordered 7 bottles and shipping ended up being like $14 a bottle, which that's not bad at all.
No, it's totally worth it. Especially on stuff that's like, I mean, look at bourbons that are like sold only like, this is a Japan only, this is whatever. and how sought after they are, like it's the same thing, except for these fools will just be like, hey, we're going to ship it to you.
Funny you should mention that. I was actually on the Carryout Killarney website, the store that this was for, and they have a Buffalo Trace Carryout Killarney edition.
Hey, you could get Buffalo Trace over there.
I don't know. I keep meaning. I'm like, I ought to buy it just to see if it's actually any different. But.
Well, what's next?
Next we are going to. Yeah, we're going to go to some Gold Spot.
So we're just going up in proof.
We are going up in proof. So this is going to be, honestly, this is the only one in the U.S. and it's still probably going to be the hardest bottle to get.
I was going to say, so I've definitely tried, I know I've tried a Blue Spot. And I've had to have tried one of the other spots at least. I just can't remember. I know I haven't tried a Gold Spot. I didn't even know there was a Gold Spot.
Well, I can't say this is the latest. This is last year's release. So this is a 9-year age statement. This is 9 to 10-year-old ex-bourbon cask, 12-year-old first fill ex-Oloroso sherry casks. Export pipe is 17 years old. So there's export finished in here.
Really?
And then a 10-year-old ex-Bordeaux wine cask that was finished 4 years in ex-bourbon and ex-Oloroso sherry, and then 6 years in an ex-Bordeaux wine cask. So this is 51.4%. This was released last year in June for Whiskey Live Dublin. And I got a bottle then because I knew it was going to be crazy here getting one, and it has been.
Well, what's also crazy is all that stuff that you just said is like, that just went, holy crap.
It's finished. Yeah, it's finished in a lot of stuff. It's finished in 4 different casks.
Now what was that you said? There's a word you used that I need some elaboration.
What's that?
You're gonna have to what was 17? You said a port.
The export pipe.
Pipe?
Yeah, it's just a cask type that they keep port wine in.
Okay. I was like, what's a port pipe? I don't know.
Sherry butt. It's just different cask.
Okay.
Hogshead, yeah. Yes, right. Sean, the Gold Spot is a limited release, so it's one and done. It retailed for, oh gosh, what did I say, 120 bucks ish.
Chris Brown said, I swear I saw one, but it was $250.
Yeah, pass on it it's not worth that.
It honestly, like this one, they keep smelling better and better. You know, like I'm getting.
This one's got a little more age than the other one. The other two, actually. Well, no, the other one.
The wine influence definitely is, I think, poking through this because you got the port. It's Bordeaux in there.
Yes, that one is 17-year Bordeaux, and I wish they had put a little more of that in here because I don't get. Well, no. It was the port that's 17. I don't get a whole lot of the port. I do get the Bordeaux on here. I get more of the sherry than anything.
See, I can't tell a difference of what I'm smelling between them, but I know that it's wine. There's no way I'm like, oh, that's the sherry. I don't know. It smells good.
Justin's helping you out. You've had green, blue, and green Bordeaux finished.
Yeah.
You've had the Layable Barton.
So I guess it's the other ones because they have the yellow spot, red spot.
They have yellow, red, gold, and then they have the green, the Chateau Montelena, and then they have the new one, which is the Quail Skate, is the one that just released last week.
Well, then I know I haven't had that one, but like the other ones,
I haven't had that one yet either. It's on its way, but
like the green Bordeaux and like all stuff like that. I don't know. I could remember, hey, you've had the green spot, but I don't remember, oh, it was the Montelena. I'm like, shoot, I don't remember. I just remember it was the green.
I'm like that with bourbon. I'm like, I don't know, the tall, skinny bottle with the bird on it.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I got you. What's up, Mike? Have a bottle of Gold Spot that I like. What else should I look for in the U.S.?
Oh, if you like Gold Spot, honestly, I think you'll love blue if you like the gold.
Oh, the blue is freaking-tastic.
Powers John's Lane is another one that I think you'll like as well.
I'm about to taste this. This smells I've been saying that every one. This smells impeccable.
No, I'm glad you're enjoying them.
I think that's my favorite so far. That's so good.
Yeah, that one's really good. You get a lot of that spicy, that pot still, just a little bit. It's almost like, I don't know if it's like white pepper or like clove.
I think I know what you're saying is when you say it's got that. I don't, at first I was like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I've gotten a similar note on some of these that I'm like, that's gotta be what she's talking about. And yeah, that's totally like, I don't know if I could tell you what white pepper smells like, or tastes like, but I feel like that's what that is.
Yeah, I get black pepper on like the blue spot. This one I'm still getting that pepper, but it's not as bitey.
Yeah. That's got to be what it is.
This one I get like cinnamon toast crunch on this.
Cinnamon toast crunch?
Yeah, especially on the
nose. Hold on, let me go back.
Vanilla and I get the cinnamon and I get the vanilla and get kind of a little bit of that cereal note.
You know, I could totally see it. It's not like in your face, I'm cinnamon toast crunch.
No.
It's as if you took a bite of it and then you were trying to remember what you just ate. It's like, oh, I had a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch. Oh, that makes total sense.
It's even creamy. So it's even like the milk. It's like cereal in a bottle.
It's creamy. Yeah, this is another banger. The Gold Spot went online in Ontario for $180 Canadian and red for $175. Passed on both. We'll grab another blue at $110.
Oh, Peter, I don't know what that exchange is. As good as this is, I would not pay over $150. I do think it's good. I don't think it's worth that. At the end of the day, it's a 9-year whiskey. I think it's worth that because you're not going to see it again.
Yeah.
It's a one and done. And it was a really cool release they did for Whiskey Live. I have some friends who are kind of people in the industry over there, and they took them down to the old cellars beneath the streets and kind of lined up the tables, and it was really, really neat.
What about this one? Drinking the only Irish I have, Quiet Man.
I like Quiet. Quiet Man's a nice bourbon finished whiskey. I think it gets overlooked a lot.
Well, he's been looking out for the spots. No luck so far. I can tell you for a fact, my local store, I don't think they have Jameson. Regular Jameson. And I think that, and then Jameson cold brew or whatever. There's no other.
That is a shame.
Yeah. It's like no spot, no John Lane's. There's none of that. It's like Tullamore Dew or whatever. It's like 3 bottles.
Is Arkansas a control state?
No. I will say, though, there is a store that has a much larger selection. I haven't went and looked specifically for the Irish. I bet you I could at least
probably
find
will notice what they have.
Yeah. And it would be interesting. They have a bigger Scotch selection, they've got to have the Irish then too.
And I do that as well. I live in Ohio. It's a control state. So most of the brands on the shelves are the major labels. But we go down to Kentucky and I'll go to Chicago and stock up.
Now this is a question.
Mike, Blue Spot is a core release. That is up to, I know it's batch 2.
So that's just,
they just can't keep up with demand for it.
So if we're not, I guess the answer for him is if you're not seeing it, then maybe you're just not your stores ain't getting it or something.
Or everybody already bought it.
Yeah. I'm trying to branch out pretty hard from bourbon into Irish this year. Stacey, do you have any thoughts on
Clonakilty?
Clonakilty.
I love Clonakilty. I have several of the Clonakilty single casts. Sean Scully, I was on a stream with him in Clonakilty. They're awesome. They are so smart. They came over to the US and started getting into single casts before anybody else. And so they have some awesome single barrels. They're all cast strength. And yeah, they're really good. I've got several of them from Irene Tan store.
Well, Halden's about to go and buy them.
Yeah, for the I mean, they're all under $100 for a single cask Irish at cast strength. Yeah, I love Clonakilty.
Dramhound too, the legend. Haven't dabbled too much in Irish, but just had Middleton Very Rare, phenomenal.
Yeah. Dramhound, you also let me know what year you had. I have a 2020 because that was Brian Nation's last year before he hightailed it to Minnesota.
Johnny Dean, that's cool. Old Forester 1910.
I like that one.
Not bad. Let's move on to the next one. I'll start pouring and I'll catch up where we're at.
This is one of my favorites.
Oh, it's the Redbreast, huh?
Yes, I have several of the Dingle Expressions. I'm hit or miss. Some of them I like, some of them I'm like, okay. I've got the single malt batch 5 I like. I have their batch 6. I have their new series, their Celtic Wheel series. So they named them after the Celtic calendar. So the first one is Samhain, which is Celtic New Year in the fall. And then the one from spring is Lala Breed for St. Bridget's Day. And that one's a rye finished single malt. And that one is just crazy.
Interesting.
So this is a Redbreast 10-year. Oh, come on, camera. There we go.
And this is Ireland exclusive.
This is an Ireland exclusive. So this was for members of the Birdhouse Club, which is Redbreast's online community. Anybody can be a member. Everybody here can go and sign up if they want on the Redbreast site, and you could be a Birdhouse member. This was released in 2021, and this was to celebrate 30 years that the Redbreast brand has been back. It came back in 1991. Okay. And this is a throwback to the old Gilbey's labels from the wine merchant Gilbey's. Huh. So this is what it would have looked like. This is a traditional single pot still whiskey. So this is more full body. This is oily. This is spicy. This is a really cool. So they did 7,000 bottles of these. It sold out in 6 hours.
All 7,000?
Yeah, you can. A little heavy-handed there. You can get these on the auction sites all the time for $100. This is made from 3 different single pot still whiskeys that were matured 10 to 15 years in ex-bourbon and ex-Oloroso sherry, with one of them being that traditional single pot still whiskey. Another example of a that we call trad pot still is Power Jones Lane. That one is spicy, more oily, more full body. You get more cereal. This is cast strength at 59.1%.
Hey, there we go.
There you go.
Cast strength. I will say on the nose, this is going back. I think it's much more of that like shortbread, buttery cookie, and it's intense. Like this is super spice.
This is those traditional Irish notes kicked up to 11.
Yeah.
This reminds me almost of like a cast strength Redbreast Listo.
This is insane. I'm trying to think.
I was late on the wagon to this one, and my friends were like, I can't believe you don't have a Redbreast 10 yet. You got to get one. And now I got one. I'm like, son of a beat, I'm going to have to get more.
Should have got more.
And like I said, the Irish whiskey auction sites have these all over the place because I think everybody, all those 7,000 bottles, everybody ran out and bought them all. And I'm like, I don't really need that many.
I'm going to tell you again, the nose, immaculate. It's like they're just getting better and better. This is insane. Let me just taste it.
So you taste this and you can tell what I mean by traditional pot still. It is spicy, spicy, spicy with the wood notes. I flip and love this one.
This is by far the best one I've had.
Yeah, I love this one.
That's amazing. And I think part of it is maybe as just a bourbon guy, this is closer. This is like the in-between range to me, I guess, of like bourbon's here on this island and Irish is here. It's like, hey, we'll meet you halfway, kind of. Like, come over to us a little bit. But we're still going to dominate. So it's a lot of the shortbread cookie. It has, and this is just because of how I'm trying to compare it. It's very bright, vanilla-y and spicy. Yeah. It almost, in some weird way, remind me kind of like a dang light whiskey.
I only have a couple. I only have your two light whiskeys to compare.
I think what I mean.
I do get those candied notes. Yeah, I definitely do.
Yes.
See this. Yeah.
It's like an Irish light whiskey, if that makes sense.
Very, yeah. I can see that.
Not like this.
I immediately thought of you when I was trying to put a flight together for you, because I'm like, okay, this is cask strength. It's got a lot of woody notes. It's sweet. So this definitely is one a bourbon drinkers. If you're going off to Ireland and wanting to get a bottle, this is a good one to go.
I think with the note that I'm looking for when I'm saying light whiskey, I get convectionary.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I get that on this. On this one. And
I usually get more like a hard candy. But yeah, I totally know what you're saying with the similar notes.
It almost reminds me as if I blended light whiskey and a good Irish whiskey. You take the best of both worlds. In my mind, that's just what I'm relating to.
I love this one. So this was released about the same time US got the small batch with the little blue top.
Okay. So but then again, it's all sold out, so it's just donezo.
No, I mean, like I said, I'll hook you up with. There's an auction site, and you can get them anytime, any month, $100.
Now you said $100. What was the retail price on that?
Oh, that I am not 100% sure, because I did not get that one at the time. I wasn't in the know.
It's got to be less than 100.
It probably maybe was 90 euro.
Okay.
I mean, it's a 10-year, but it's an exclusive. And you figure Redbreast 12 is 65, 70. So it probably was around 80.
Okay.
80 euro at the time.
Well, that's not a bad markup.
All day long.
That's not a bad. I had barely even a markup. My store has bullcrap bottles marked up more than that.
Well, and I think it's because they're saturated. The auction sites are saturated with them because everybody snapped them up, and then they're like, "Whoa, you don't do 7,000 bottles."
Yeah, I really hope though. Like, what happened with that bottle is what I hope happens to a lot of. Like, oh shit! I don't know what just happened.
That's probably my crappy internet.
It kicked me off too.
Oh, okay.
Like it just kicked both of us out. We're good.
They're talking about buying Irish whiskey on auction sites. Oh no.
Oh, I bet you YouTube's freaking watching us. They're like, oh yeah, don't talk about that. All right. I'm going to actually finish this before we move on. These have been, seriously, so far, I feel like you did research on me. You were like, I'm going to send him I don't think he would like that. Oh, I think he would like that. I know,
you'd think I was a subscriber and in your Patreon or something.
No, I could tell, though, that you went and looked and was like, yes, I think he would like that for this reason.
I tried to think of what a bourbon drinker might like. when I pick these, and these are just some of the choices that I'm glad you enjoy all of them.
So far, that Redbreast, which is great. Some of my favorites off of memory Irishes that I've tried. Blue Spot is amazing. And
yeah, everybody loves Blue Spot.
I've tried Redbreast 12 and the Redbreast Cast Strength. Loved them both.
Yeah, I have the 121 of the Cast Strength. I've heard B122 is better, but I haven't had it yet.
Now, see, I didn't even know they did batches like that. It's kind of like the Irish version of like, oh, you've tried Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, but
yeah,
this one.
They eat what, like, huh?
Like, I didn't know they did
right? No, the worst is actually Dunville's, because they name their casts. They're after their numbered casts. So like, oh, well, you have 1197. No, I have 1196.
And they're different. Is there an echo? What has changed?
I don't know. I'm not hearing an echo.
Do you have the echo cancellation on?
I do.
No, I don't hear an echo now. Donnie, it's your ears, dude.
I don't know if it's just, well, you're not in StreamYard though. Or maybe it's just YouTube in general, because it's been happening on several streams lately.
I was hearing a little bit, but then it just went away. You're good.
Okay.
Have you had any Dublin Whiskey Distillery Co. bottles?
I don't know if you mean Dublin Liberties, or is there another Dublin whiskey company, distillery company? Dublin Liberties, yes. I have a couple of those. I have Dead Rabbit. I have Dublin Liberties Murder Lane, the 13-year single malt finished in Tokai.
Ooh, I bet that's pretty good.
It is. It's real light and real sweet.
Because that Tokai, is that... I feel like I've only just... Like the Penelope Tokai finish is like the first time I've ever heard of Tokai. So is like, or all of these other whiskeys it's a big deal for them already? Or is it like, or not big deal, but is it regular already? Like, you've seen that?
Hey.
Something is happening.
YouTube does not like you streaming on Monday.
I'm kind of scared. There are two of you look at this. Oh, it won't show it. There's another one of you in the background, and I'm terrified. I pulled you up, and I saw two of you.
I've only one on screen.
Well, that was like a horror movie. You had there was one of you moving, and the other one was just smiling at me. Yeah, it must be the Monday.
Yeah, it's totally the Mondays.
Well, shoot. Let's go to this next one.
Alrighty. So this one you cannot get. It is on auction sites. It's going to be hard to find, unfortunately. This is a whiskey club release. One of the Irish whiskey clubs that I'm in is called Stories and Sips. And this is 2 stacks. So I think a lot of people know that. Oh, come on, stupid camera. Nope, you're going to give me bits. This is a 12-year single grain finished in Madeira. And this is 63.11%. And this is the one that I think it was Sugar Kitty that says, if you say there's no cast strength Irish whiskey, I will smack you upside the head with some 2 stacks. Because 2 stacks is all cast strength.
Now, I will say, this is the lightest one by far.
This is. There is no... So this is a single grain whiskey. I tried to find the mash bill component and wasn't able to find it. I can guarantee there's corn in it. This is all natural color, non-chill filtered, and bottled at cast strength. So 2 Stacks is a newer distillery. They're in Newry in County Down. So this one is 12 years aged in first fill X bourbon, and then it's finished 6 months in a Maduro style from California.
Okay.
So there were 318 bottles of this. This sold for 59 pounds, roughly about 70 to 73 bucks. I have both of the Dramamine cans from Two Stacks. I have the green one and the blue one. I love them. So this one, Irish whiskey historian Finan O'Connor ranked this one of his top 5 single grain whiskeys he's ever tried.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, when you say single grain, so this is just explain that a little more for me.
So single grain is made at one distillery, which is why it's single grain, and it's can be made at anything other than malted barley. It's usually in a column still. A lot of times it's wheat and corn, but it can be rye, it could be oats.
So when
unmalted barley.
Is it, and this might sound dumb because you said something I thought I understood, but then you said something else. Single grain. It can be multiple grains.
Single refers to one distillery.
So
it can be multiple grains.
I think that's the problem a lot of outsiders, I guess, have when they say single grain. I'm thinking, what grain? Like it's a single grain of a mash bill.
Same with single malt. Single malt doesn't mean there's not multiple casks going into it. It just means it's made at one distillery.
Okay. Well, them fools need to go ahead and change it for the rest of the world. Because single grain, I feel like
I agree.
It does. It is language. I'm like, so there's one grain in this? No, it's corn and malt. It's oats. Like, okay. But they're more focused. And I guess it needs to be that way for them, though, because as I understand it, there's a lot of, hey, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take a barrel from these guys, and I can do whatever I want. And that's just totally legal.
Yeah. And this is from Cooley Distillery. So they source this from Cooley.
So they want to be sure, like, hey, we don't care as much of what the grain is. We care much more about where it came from. Like, hey, this came from Jim Beam. Imagine if Kentucky was like, oh yeah, I'm Jim Beam, but I got barrels from Four Roses and Heaven Hill, and that's what we do. It would be a much bigger deal to say this came just from Jim Beam.
And this is honestly, single grain is probably one of the least known categories of Irish whiskey. The most people know it because it's part of a blend. Your blended Irish whiskey has grain whiskey in it. And it's starting to become kind of its own category. I've got a few different single grains, and they're really good. They're lighter, and most of them do have corn or wheat as the main mash bill component in there. This one, like I said, I couldn't find the mash bill, but I can guarantee there's corn in it.
Probably why I'm also really receptive and really liking this. I'm getting some corny goodness.
So I had this. This was in a blind on my channel last night, and this one won. I had my blind battle for Irish Whiskey Battle.
Whoa. Hold on. What the heck did I just drink? I'm going to have to go back. I don't think I've ever had a whiskey just do that to me. I don't know what the heck just happened. Let's go in reverse. What I'm tasting right now is the most jelly of finishes. Pure grape.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Pure grape.
Yeah.
Before that, I don't know what that was.
I get like corn pudding. Like, it's Thanksgiving. Here's some corn pudding. And now here's some jelly.
Yeah. Which is weird. Like, Why do you go from corn pudding? Now you're going to eat just straight from the... Okay, Trev, you're drinking jelly from the jar now? What's wrong with you? Wow. Okay. That was a shock. I need to go back. What I've noticed a lot about these two is the nose indicates what you're about to get into, but the palates are just so...
Yeah.
Maybe they're not different. Maybe they're just so much more intense that it's like, I'm going to punch you.
The one thing that kills me about this one is everything on the palate doesn't say, hey, I'm 63% alcohol. It does not drink that proofy at all. I don't get that alcohol burn or that Kentucky hug or...
Let me retaste it. That was probably the most extreme just roller coaster ride. Peter says Cooley is the MGP of Ireland.
I think Great Northern is a little more than Cooley, but yeah, he ain't wrong. Yeah. And that's what always kills me. I'm like, everybody's, well, it's an MGP over here. I'm like, heck, they've been doing that in Ireland for years.
Yep. I think you just broke Trev. Let me go. Now that I know what I'm getting into. It was a little more tuned down that time. I think what it was, because it was still really, really sweet up front, like Madeira. I think that it was like overbearingly Madeira for my first sip that I was like, I don't know my brain didn't know how to process that. I'm going to have to go back for a third.
So I will say, as this bottle has gone down, I'm getting more of the Madeira than the corn grain. That was honestly, when I first cracked it, that was sort of all I got was that corn note, that corn pudding note. But single grain whiskeys tend to be sweeter. That being said, this is unlike any single grain Irish whiskey I've ever had.
This is unlike any freaking whiskey period that I've ever had.
Yeah, it's totally different.
This is ridiculous. Wait a minute. The Ranch is drinking single malts? No, I'm drinking
No, he's drinking grain. Irish single grain.
God, get it right.
Hey, bubble bath.
Halden wants to know, what do you think of West Cork Distillery? I think you're about to convert Halden.
So West Cork, their barrel proof is honestly, it's a great bargain. You're getting a high proof whiskey at a really low price. West Cork uses a lot of wheat in their blended mash bill. I'm not personally a fan of a lot of stuff they're doing. I do think that, like I said, I do think that barrel proof bottle is one of the best bargains you can get.
I'm about to go in for a third time. This is.
Did I break you?
Yeah, like this pour right here is insane.
I love stuff like this too, because people think, oh, I know what Irish is, and they know.
No, you freaking don't. Like
everywhere. Yeah, it's so crazy the amount of variety.
This honestly, like a lot of these, I think a lot of these competitions, take Matt Madness, right? Mm-hmm. Predominantly, it's bourbon. Because who's predominantly competing in it? Bourbon people. So he's not going to own something like this. If he did, this would break the competition.
I wouldn't know what I drink Irish all the time, and I wouldn't know that one. I'd know Blue Spot, but I wouldn't know that one.
You would have no freaking clue. I wouldn't even know what to guess.
So this one was like I said, it was one that was picked out by the head of the whiskey club and Fionn O'Connor, famous. He researched single pot still whiskey. He's an Irish whiskey historian. Wrote the book A Glass Apart, and he helped pick this one out of the cast for the club. So you do this one. You would have to be a member of the club to get. You can find a couple of the bottles on auction sites, but you're not going to see this one very often. This one is one of those, I'm like, I love Irish single grain. And then I tasted that and I'm like, whoa,
It's
that
like,
was
I thought
not
I knew.
where I thought that was going.
Well, here's another one for you as I go in for Andrew V.
You guys are hitting me with all the controversial questions.
I know. Like, I honestly feel like a lot of people here are like, I'm either trying to dabble or they're like, we have the expert.
Andrew is not dabbling if Andrew knows Waterford.
I know. I'm just meant like people are coming in and being like, we got the expert, or we're just gonna make her answer.
I'm an expert drinker of Irish whiskey, but I will. So I love Waterford. I love what Waterford is trying to do. I love their intent. Their cuvées are honestly pretty good. I've got a couple of the cuvées. I've got the one that is called the cuvée, and then I've got one that was done for a Facebook. They're Friends of Waterford Facebook group that's called Blood Brothers. It's actually really, really good as well. They're single origin bottles. They're good, but it's hard pressed to spend $100 on a 4-year-old whiskey that tastes every bit of 4 years old. I applaud what they're doing. I think they're starting to get in that. They're realizing and getting in the direction where they're going to release more cuvées and get some more age on some things.
There you go, Andrew. You've heard it here from the expert. What's up, Jay? Good to see you. What about the Cologne?
Oh, the Clonakilty port cask. Oh, which one is that? I don't know that I've had that one. I've had the Bordeaux. I've had the double oaked. Oh, yes, I have had the port. I liked that one.
Good.
Yeah, I liked that one.
If you
was the Bordeaux, I didn't care for it. I liked the port one.
Here's an easy one. Stacy, what do you think of the Sexton?
Oh, the Sexton is, I mean, for $30, it's hard to beat, a sherry finished single malt for $30. Actually, that is my go-to in Irish coffee. I have a bottle of Sexton just put Irish coffee.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know if other people feel the same way. Like when I hear you talk about Irish, it makes me feel like when I was just getting into bourbon. Like it genuinely, it's almost more amazing to hear how much you know about Irish than like me tasting it.
I'm fortunate that a lot of the Irish distillers are so personable that I can hit them up with a question and I'm like, how the heck am I getting an answer from Alex Thomas, who's master blender at Bushmills? But she's like, yeah, she'll answer you right away. Because they're just so excited about what they're doing and excited about everybody's interest in it. So it's actually one of the reasons I like the Sexton, because Alex started as master blender at Sexton, and I make a ridiculous amount of Irish coffee and tried that one day, and I'm like, yep, new favorite. Awesome.
2 questions. 1, what is an Irish coffee?
So a traditional Irish coffee is made with you get a dark roast coffee. I use Demerara sugar, but you can use dark brown sugar. Make your dark coffee. You put a shot of Irish whiskey in it, any kind you want. I will say peated works really good in Irish coffee.
Now
then you take heavy whipping cream. You use a frother or you can use a cocktail shaker. And you shake up the heavy whipping cream, get it nice and thick, and then you float it over the back of a spoon on top of your Irish coffee. And you can top it with nutmeg. If I'm using peated whiskey, I'll actually like grate off some dark chocolate on top.
What?
Yeah, I
haven't lived. I have not lived. Wow.
My husband even laughed at me when the Amazon box came. He's like, well, I'm like, well, the frother broke in the coffee machine. I needed a new one. So I got a green one. We always have heavy cream in the fridge now because of that.
Second question.
Yes.
And this goes back to Martin's question. You said he asked about the Sexton. You said it's $30.
Yeah, it's only like $30.
So I feel like in the bourbon world, you can get really good stuff for like, I could name you a $15 bottle.
Mm-hmm.
In the Irish world, let's just say daily sipper. What would be your, if you just named one or two daily sippers, and what are their prices? Like something, if I'm just going to drink one every single day for the next month, what would it be?
Try
and you have to pay for it.
Try to be reasonable. You're not going to get a great Irish whiskey under $20. Costs a lot to get stuff on a boat from there to here.
Yep.
They have to pay VAT, then they have to navigate our 50 states of regulations. So under $30. Two off the top of my head, I love Power's Gold Label. That's a blend, and it's real spicy, and you get a little bump up in the ABV because it's 43%. The other one is I think it's just a one-time release. If you can still find it, Bushmills Prohibition. That is a great one. That's another blend. That one is 46% ABV. That one was released for the final season of the Peaky Blinders TV show. And the bottle's even modeled after like a Prohibition style whiskey.
That's awesome.
It's a bourbon heavy finish. So it's got spicy apricot apple notes from bourbon. Then get a little extra ABV.
Bubble bath. He's a pro. What about?
Yeah, you can make whatever you want with Irish coffee. I do traditional ones only because I've learned how to do it.
What about, so aside from price, and aside from comparing it to bourbon, if we were to ask you, what would, like, a daily sipping Irish for you, what would you go to?
My daily is usually J.J. Corey the Gale. It's a higher price when it's I've seen it anywhere from $50 to $65, $70. It is available in the US widespread. It's at Total Wine in like 100 different locations. It's a blend, and I like it because it's more bourbon finished. It's got a lot of tropical notes going on. It reminds me of like juicy fruit gum. And then on the palate, it's like juicy fruit gum and just a little bit of black pepper. So it kind of balances that. I also like that it's from an independent Irish brand. So you're supporting the smaller places as well. But I absolutely love that one. The other one is Cologne 5-year rum and raisin. I need to really start buying that by the case. I blow through that so much. And every time I order, I'm like, do they have that? Yeah, I'll just throw another one in.
Nice. Now, what about, every time I ask a question, I come up with another question. And then we're going to pour this. Whoa. We're going to pour this
So let me ask you before we pour, what was your favorite out of these? I'm going to put you on the spot. Make you pick favorite.
No, I think I have an order. I think my favorite, Redbreast 10.
I love that one.
And then I think the next one was Gold Spot. I'm really struggling with this 2 stacks. It's weird because it's like, it's so freaking weird.
It's so different.
But it's like, when I drink it, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm loving this. But then I don't want to say that because that would be like, oh, he doesn't like it. No, it's like, I drink that. That's so weird. And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, I kind of want to drink that again.
Yeah, I hear people talk about whiskey. Well, I need to sit with it a bit. That's one of those ones that you have to sit with it a bit and figure it out. Because I say all the time, every once in a while I'll run across one like this. I'm like, I'm still figuring it out. Like, it's just, even for Irish single grain, it's so off the chart different.
It's so different. It's weird.
But I thought you would like that because I'm like, hey, here's 63% alcohol.
And that's the thing. Like, I would consider myself getting away from being a proof hound. Like before, I was like, hey, if you're not 60%, you're not competing. But now I'm like, I think everyone does this roller coaster of just as your palate evolves.
Oh, you guys got me drinking higher proof now.
Yeah,
All
and
you
you're
all the
going
bourbon
to.
guys. Yeah, I'm starting to get into bourbon, and I'm like, oh, I don't have many that are 40% anymore. And
Don't
the
get
two
me
stacks
wrong.
is
I want some cask strength stuff, but it's like most of the time when it's me
Mhm.
here and I'm working or whatever, I'm not grabbing Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
No, I'm
Grabbing
usually grabbing something lower.
I'm grabbing something 100 proof. It's kind of in the middle, and we'll call it good.
So the two stacks, all of their everybody knows their cask strength bottle. If you don't know, it's 65% ABV. It's 5 different casks. It's 2% of its peat malt. They have finishes of those, and those finishes are freaking amazing. They're 63% alcohol, all of them. So I have back here apricot brandy, apple brandy, and cherry brandy. They
Really?
have a Barbados rum. They have a tawny port.
Wow.
Yeah, they have an imperial stout.
Are they all that freaking weird?
No, they're all their blend. They're normal two stacks blend.
Okay.
So it's about a 4.5 year blend.
I have my complete order. I just went and poured a couple more.
No, this is one of those casks. They'll go out and they'll find these weird casks. So I've got two of them. They did a 9-year single malt and a 6-year single pot still, and they finished them in a red ice wine cask from Niagara region of Ontario. So yeah, they do kind of weird, crazy stuff all the time.
I don't know if they're talking about this one. Oh, no, they're talking about the Tyrconnell.
Oh, the Tyrconnell. I like, the one thing me and Donald Rance actually disagree on. I like the Tyrconnell 16-year Oloroso and Moscatel. He does not care for it.
Really?
Yeah. I do like that Madeira that he likes too, though.
I think so. Redbreast 10 was my favorite. Then the Gold Spot. I think I would put the two stacks like third place.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's my issue. I really liked how do you say it? Killowen? Killowen. I think the flavor of that is a niche when it's meaty.
Yeah.
So I'd have to be in the mood for that.
Yeah, it's different.
If I had to just judge right now, I would probably put Jameson in front of the Killowen.
Jameson's more, you could have that anytime. Cologne, you have to be in the mood for that.
And that's what I'm struggling with, because I think the Jameson pot stills, like, that seems like your everyday type drinking bottle. The Killowen's so much more unique.
It's that Cologne has a lot of unique finishes. They also last year, Brendan Carty at Cologne dedicated 2022 as the year of the poachine. They released a lot of Irish poachine. I've got several bottles of theirs behind me, and they're all really, really good.
I could easily interchange those last two, just depending on the circumstance.
I could totally see that. It just depends on the day, because one is more of a unique sit and enjoy it, and the other one's just a daily drinker.
Oh yeah, I would think the Killowen's like, hey, I'm about to sit down and let's like dissect this, and the Jameson's like, fill me up.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go sit for 3 hours and I'm gonna watch the game.
Yeah.
And
like, I had a bad day at work. It's 5 o'clock. Talk about it. I need a freaking whiskey kind of day. Yeah.
And we're not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna enjoy it. Whatever. Yeah, I think that's my order. I didn't go back to the Gold Spot. I definitely think my top two are the Gold Spot and the Redbreast.
I love that Redbreast 10.
I think
I like that spicy, kind of the heavier Oloroso.
Yeah.
Notes on that.
I think my issues is that, like, they all have something about them that puts them number one.
I picked 5 kind of really different whiskeys for you.
Like, there's something about this Gold Spot that I love so much more than the Redbreast.
Mm-hmm.
But then overall, it's like, I don't know. It's like you're building a character in a video game, and like the stats are all the way up in this one, but then these. So it's kind of like, what the heck? Like, man, there's something about the gold spot that I think outdoes the Redbreast. I can't explain it.
No, I'm glad you really liked it. Like I said, anytime you want a flight of cast strength Irish, I am happy to provide. I have a ridiculous amount of cast strength Irish whiskey.
I will accept it anytime. Especially if this is, granted, you've sent me like the best things imaginable. Uh-oh, I think Stacy froze again.
Oh, did I freeze?
On my screen, you were looking at me like a frozen goob.
Ah, crud.
Gold spot with a little air gets so good, says David Goldman.
I think I'm still moving. Yeah, it's just your screen. I think I'm still moving on YouTube. I agree, David. The further you get in the bottle, the more it opens up. Totally agree.
Hey guys, Stacy is sitting at 499 subs. Can someone give her a sub? I've pinned the comment in the
I was 500 yesterday, and then YouTube did its thing, and now I'm.
Oh,
I actually said at 500 was my mark. I said at 500, I'm going to create a Patreon, and I'm going to start giving some of this stuff away every month.
Well, you're about to get it. I've pinned the comment. You click.
Oh, thank you.
Her YouTube.
I've got new bottles coming in. I got today actually. That I think I already told you about it. Arrived. I got the Dunville's 21-year Palo Cortado cask. It's a single malt, and it is a single cask, so it's a cask strength, and it won Irish Whiskey of the Year at the Irish Whiskey Awards this year.
Really?
Yeah. So I can't even say I've already opened it. My husband gives me crap. I open them within 10 minutes of UPS dropping them off.
All right, you hit.
Open them. UPS should bring them later.
You hit 500.
Oh, thank you, Chris. No, I've a downside of being sick for St. Patrick's Day. I did a little shopping, so I've got another.
Is that a downside?
Yeah, I did a little shopping. It said Dunville's 10-year PX finish, cask strength is on its way. Oh, thank you, Holden.
Yep, you're set now.
I love when people tell me like, "Hey, I've bought more Irish whiskey because you." I love that. I want people to drink more of it because I think it's amazing. I think especially the smaller distilleries, what they're doing is amazing. They're giving us what we want. We don't want artificial color. We want cask strength.
You fully converted Holden Kirkwood tonight. I'm telling you. Hey, do you want to? Before we end,
yes.
Do you want to try this other bottle together?
I've already poured some.
I asked that. I threw mine. It's like under my desk. So. You're gonna have to give me a reminder because Peter White sent this. The Irishman.
We are doing Irishman 17.
I remember him like. I drank all of this flight that he sent me.
This is brilliant.
I can't remember
single malt sherry finish.
Single malt sherry finish.
I know. You're still gonna like it even if it's a single malt. 56% ABV.
It smells kind of brown sugar like.
Yeah, it's a total sherry bomb.
Which, yeah, it's got to be coming from that. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So this is going to be, you're going to get similar notes from the Redbreast 10 because it's Oloroso. Oh, thank you, Linux Cat.
Ooh. Holden says Irish just seems like such a more interesting and evolving category than Scotch.
I totally agree with you. I mean,
I would
part
agree
of it is just the casks. I mean, as long as there's been a liquor in it, you can put Irish whiskey in it. It doesn't have to be oak. I've got some that are finished in French chestnut, wild cherry wood, mulberry wood. Method Madness is huge about experimenting with different kinds of wood. Like I said, that one is Tokai. I've got ice wine. It's crazy all the different finishes you can have. I've got the Bushmills Causeway from this past year that was done in vermouth. It's a vermouth finish.
Here's another question for you.
Oh, Dunny, if you can find the 2020, get the 2020. That one is a good one, and that was Brian Nation's last year at Middleton, before he left and went to Minnesota to Keeper's Heart. There's more grain in that one, so it's lighter. It's really interesting. It's not as long a finish, I don't think. Donald disagrees with me, but I don't think it's as long a finish as some of the others. I liked the 22 as well. I have not had the 23 yet. The 23, they went away from the wood boxes and have this fancy cardboard box now.
Oh, they went from wood to cardboard? Are you kidding me?
And then they said it was for sustainability.
All right.
Gee, whatever. Not because wood boxes weigh a whole lot to ship.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what's going to happen because they are going to do it to Redbreast 27. So what's going to happen when you spend $650 on a whiskey in a cardboard box? They used to be in a really gorgeous redwood box.
People are going to get mad, I guarantee you.
Have you had Redbreast 27?
No.
Okay, we're going to have to fix that.
I know that that's the bottle. It's like a pink red bottle. That's all I know.
That one right there. It's in that red box.
And shoot, I will drink the heck out of it, especially because I've loved this 10-year was amazing. The 12-year, both cast strength and the regular is phenomenal.
I got the Jason Mash and Drum. I hit him with the Redbreast Christmas cake, which wasn't a public release. I'm in Middleton Barrel Club, and that was the December release for that.
Go figure.
So good. And I'm like, oh, it's not available publicly. I mean, I can't even get another bottle if I wanted another bottle. So we're really hoping they release that one next year.
All right, let me drink this Irishman, and I'm going to tell you where this fits. Where it ends up in tonight's blind.
Pretty freaking good.
You want to know my issue? And this might be a hot take to some of you. I'm getting the single malt. I will say it's oaky.
The spice, I think you're missing the spice that's on that Redbreast 10.
Yeah.
Because that Redbreast 10 is the pot still, so you're missing that little spiciness this one doesn't have. I
would totally agree. And for me, like this might make Peter's probably cringing. I would, me personally, and that's good. That means more for Peter. It's good. Just comparatively and how my palate is, I would probably put this more in the middle somewhere. Like maybe between like the two stacks. It's a big old blob of order. I think the Redbreast and Gold are just much more in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of fits with the other ones where I think it would depend. Like it would just depend on what I'm feeling.
Well, and some people like the single pot still better. I actually like Irish single malt better. So this one in Dunville's, which is single malt, I prefer that. Oh, thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
I love these that have woody notes. I know you guys just my slow week just turned to poo because I'm creating a Patreon now. And at least I can share more of this whiskey. And I really enjoy doing that.
You better be careful. Because people might just come and suck up all of the good Irish whiskey. This crap is so good.
There's always more coming. There are so many. So there are over 40 operating distilleries and brands now that are releasing Irish whiskey right now. If you count the number of licenses and the whiskey bonders, there's over 70. So there is just, it's ridiculous amount of Irish whiskey that's out there right now.
Peter, I have other stuff. The theme was sherried malts. Yeah, he sent me a bunch of sherried everything. I'm talking like countries I didn't even know they made whiskey.
Peter has excellent taste, so I have no doubt it was a banger flight.
Well, and that was the thing. He was like, he thought I just hated it. I would say there were a couple that I loved, a couple that were like in that middle ground for me of just whatever, like my palate. I can't appreciate it probably like someone like you would. And then there were a couple that I'm like, dude, that is not for me. So it was all over the place.
I do like some malt. I've not had a lot. I've had some from, that are Israeli. I really got into Swedish single malt for a little bit.
I think he sent me like an Indian or
Paul John.
No, maybe it's not that. Amroot.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Is that Indian?
That is Indian.
Yeah, that was freaking weird. I was like, what the heck, dude? That's crazy. It's flavors that you're just not used to. And I think part of it too is just you've never tasted it before. So I think you need more time than just in a live stream blinding it. I still have it. I have it right there. That's how I knew it was Amber. I looked over and saw it.
Yeah, that's one you really need to just sit down with and spend an evening and really deconstruct. I totally agree. I love that. I love trying stuff from other countries and seeing how's this compared to Scotch and Irish that I'm used to.
And and this might be something that should be obvious, but I think a lot of us don't think about. I think as like maybe bourbon drinkers is a broad term. I think a lot of the times we are pouring pours just to drink them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking
I totally
about
agree.
it. You're totally not thinking about it. You're just drinking it because it makes you drunk and makes you feel good. And I think some of these pours you drink it and you're like, oh, what the heck is that? Whatever. I'm going to move on to something else. I think the goal of these people who make it are for you to like, hey, pour this and go sit down and spend an hour drinking that one pour and break it down. What about this is different? Like, how does it compare? It's from this country. How does it compare to the country you're used to? Mm-hmm. And that's something a lot of us just don't do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And some of that stuff is just so different. And I try to think, okay, look into it. Well, what is it about this whiskey? And look into the distillery. And okay, well, I can't get that really easily. So I need to spend a little time with it, not just throw it in a glass and drink it during somebody's live stream or during my own live stream. Mm-hmm. Even with bourbon, I mean, yes, Redbreast calf strength is awesome.
As someone who's not an Irish whiskey lord, yeah, I would even agree. That's a great pickup.
You want to try an old-fashioned Redbreast calf strength. That's really good.
Game changer.
It's really, really good.
Interesting. Jameson Bow Street.
Ooh, the Bow Street is really good.
There's like
that is the Jameson 18
of things I've never heard of.
It's Jameson 18 year at a cask strength.
Okay. Well, there you go, David. Hit her.
I skipped the 18 so 18 just got re-released as a 46%. I thought it was a travesty that it was a 40%. But if you only have the 40% around, get the Bow Street. Sorry, that's my wolfhound that was decided to make an appearance.
Here's another one for you. This tonight is literally
like Keeper's Heart.
Everyone.
So Brian Nation, who was the master distiller at Middleton, very rare, actually left Middleton to go to frickin' Minnesota. All places. And he is now at O'Shaughnessy Distilling Company, who makes Keeper's Heart. You can obviously tell there's a lot of experience in the Keeper's Heart. I think their Keeper's Heart Irish and Rye, I really enjoy that, especially you're just looking for something that's versatile, something that, that's a $30 bottle that's versatile. So you can use that in a hot toddy. You can use that in cocktails. I think it's a good light summertime neat pour. Their Irish and bourbon isn't bad. Their single casks are really good. I've got a virgin oak single cask of theirs. I've got their maple syrup cask that's really good.
Ooh.
So I'm excited to see what they do with Bry Nation at More Time there.
Interesting. Maple. You got my attention.
It's like pancakes and whiskey. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I love freaking pancakes so hard.
It's definitely a fall one. It's on the sweeter side, but.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I do. That was an Irish Wolfhound. That's Magner.
Just saw part of your dog.
Yeah. That's Magner. He's my Irish Wolfhound.
Well, it's about time that I get to
thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed all of them.
No, Stacy, this was freaking awesome. I'm a bourbon guy, but I love when people are like, "Hey, I want to send you this," because there's no way that someone like me would ever be exposed to something like this otherwise. Like there's
and I hadn't seen you drink a lot of Irish whiskey, so you were honestly one of the people I'm like, hey, you want to try some stuff?
The last time I did this was last year with Donald Rance.
Oh, I love Donald.
And he sent me, I don't think he sent me definitely none of these. I've never tried any of these. But he also did the same thing as you. Was like, hey, I'm going to send you 5 just freaking random things that I think you would like. And it was crazy. It's genuinely crazy. So.
No, I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
It makes me seriously want to go to the store and look for it. There's no way I can get the Redbreast tin or Gold Spot. But the cool thing about it is it makes me want to go find another spot or another Redbreast and buy it and have it.
And that's honestly, that's why I started doing this. Because I swore I was never going to have a channel. And then I'm just going to do videos. I'm not going to do lives. And yeah, here we are. But I love, there's so many good bottles out there, and especially the smaller brands, the independent brands. And it is not cheap to get over here to the US. And a lot of times all they have left is word of mouth. So
yeah,
it makes me excited that people are buying more Irish whiskey to see it doing as well as it is. And there's just so much of it out there that there didn't used to be 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad you liked everything.
I'm glad I liked everything too. when you get 5 random samples of stuff, it's like, man, there's going to be something.
Oh, I know, you're drinking it live. You're like,
I don't like it.
Good.
But no, this was, and even if it did, I mean, shoot, you could send me 5.
Oh, I wouldn't. You could hate it. I wouldn't take offense. I didn't make it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how would you know? It's just part of expanding someone's palate. And I'm just grateful that you let me expand my palate on some really good craft.
Anytime.
Yeah, go. So on our way out of here, for one, I'm about to go watch some Bachelor. I'm gonna have a great time. Seriously, go subscribe to Stacy for one. She is the Irish master. 2, she's just a fun person, cool person. So go watch her videos and stuff. So it doesn't even matter if you like Irish. You do other stuff. You have bourbon. You're expanding.
I am. I'm going to be doing, so now that March is just about at an end, I've got a couple things coming up. I'm going to do, everybody's been sending me bourbon samples. So I'm going to do kind of a bourbon grab bag night with a friend. And then I have 3 different Penelope architects that I'm going to do.
There you go.
Compare those.
You know what? You need to go check that out, because it's going to be the same thing as me suffering through. I wouldn't say suffering, but like, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Penelope, I recommend to all my Irish whiskey drinkers. I'm like, if you want a bourbon that's good for Irish whiskey drinkers,
go get the
about that mash bill just works. That, and I'm going to be having a Green River review coming up too.
Well, there you go. So go drop her a sub. Again, seriously, Stacey, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Trav. I'm glad you liked it.
We'll finish our chat when I hit end stream in the back stream. Everyone else, go hit a sub. Go enjoy the rest of your night. And I'll see you guys this week. Again, this is a random Monday stream. Let's go. All right. Love you guys. We're out of here. Stacey, I'll see you in the background. You're at 511 subs, by the way.